Hey there, I built a portfolio of over 200 rental properties, and I'm getting ready to sell almost all of them. And right now, I'm going to tell you why this is and why I'm doing it on purpose. Everybody teaches you how to buy real estate, everybody teaches you how to get in and all the positives and the rah, rah, rah to it. I'm going to teach you when to sell and when it makes a lot of sense and why you might want to consider doing so. The mistake that almost cost me everything is trying to hold on to too many properties. In fact, I don't even know how many properties I had at the peak, but it was hundreds and hundreds of rental units. Now, stay with me because I'm going to show you the math that nobody shows you right now. This is the dream, right? You watch YouTube, you watch influencers tell you to buy a bunch of real estate, you get into the game, and you think, I'm going to build passive income. You might even see people talking about buying doors, right? And if you can make $100, $200, $300 per door off of hundreds per unit, it's easy to see the math of this, right? $100 a unit times 100 units is what? $10,000. And so you're thinking, hey, if I can make $300 a unit and have 100 units, then I'm making $30,000 a month. There's excitement here, right? There's speed to buying. There is a scoreboard that you're keeping on your wall to count how many units you're buying and adding up. And the truth is, I thought more about doors than I thought about wealth when I was getting into this business. I think naively, I thought that the more doors you had, the more money you would make. In fact, I got addicted to seeing every single month my bank account collecting more and more and more and more and more income. Okay. And this is why it's important that you have somebody really putting you on the game of what it's really like to own this number of properties. Now, there's a turn that happens, okay? When you add up doors and you borrow money, there's a turn that happens when you start to really look at the vacancy and how much it costs you. When you start to really look at how many people don't actually pay their rent on time and the process to going after people who don't pay their rent. I can count on the number of hands I have. I really mean that. The number of fingers I have. The number of people who actually leave the unit in the condition where they're getting their deposit back. Or the number of people who even care if they don't pay you the last month's rent when they're planning to leave. I can count on the number of fingers I have, the times that people actually leave properties in good condition if they know they are going to move somewhere else. And so this comes with real insight as you're turning over units, when the buying stops, when the interest rates rise. Okay, when I started my business, I was borrowing money at 3 and 4% interest rate by the millions. Okay, and then interest rates went up to 7, 7.5, 8, 10% by the millions. Okay, some of you that are doing the quick math on that could see that this was easily swinging monthly cash flows between $20, $30, $40, $50,000 a month. And that affects your ability to operate your business. Okay, so I'm gonna give y'all a real idea here of how cash flow can look when you own hundreds of rental properties. Let's say it's the best time of the year, right? Maybe it's February, it's March, people got their tax returns and they're paying you all of their rent, right? And so you see 100 units, for example, where you're collecting $100,000 a month, and maybe you borrowed correctly and your expenses are around 60 to 70,000. So you are collecting $30,000 a month in cash flow. It's beautiful. But then summertime hits and people start moving and ACs start to go out and heaters start to go out. And you are fixing these things like you're supposed to if you're a good landlord within 48 hours or so. You're helping people have habitable, safe, affordable places to live. And all of a sudden, that cash flow goes from, $30,000, $40,000, $50,000 a month. So you actually being in the red some months by $10, $20, or $30,000, and you still having to make the insurance payments, the mortgage payments. You're still having to make payroll, right? You're still having to take care of these properties. I discovered something that I really want you to know if you're following this channel. More doors does not equal more cash flow. More doors does not equal more income. More doors means more responsibility. Okay. And to handle this responsibility, you need experience. Okay. You need experience. And owning hundreds of doors has given me the experience to be able to help countless amounts of students inside our inner circle. I'd love to tell you more about that a little later on. But right now, I want you to click that subscribe button as I get into really giving you some details on why I'm selling a lot of these rental properties on purpose. Did you click that subscribe button? All right. So I'm going to tell you like cash flow on paper and cash flow in a spreadsheet. When you're buying these properties, a lot of times you will have a spreadsheet that will tell you, oh, I'm going to collect $1,000 a month. I'm going to pay insurance taxes, the mortgage, and then maybe even management, vacancy, and then I'm going to have this much left over. Okay. And if you start putting a bunch of properties on a spreadsheet, this is going to add up fairly quickly, right? So if you're buying 20 doors or 50 doors or 100 doors on that spreadsheet, you're going to look like a millionaire, right? And if you make a net worth tab where you're looking at your net worth, you're going to look like a millionaire even faster. Okay. It's going to be adding up really quickly. But I want you to think about this. Does putting that cash flow on a spreadsheet actually put that money in your bank account? Or is there necessary effort that you're going to have to give to actually get that money into your bank account? I'm going to give you the answer. You're absolutely going to have to put necessary effort into getting that money into your bank account. Tenants will not always pay on time. Maintenance items will not always last the amount of time that you think they should last. If you make a repair, it will not always stick. You're going to have contractors that are going to steal. You're going to have tenants that are going to steal. Frankly, you're going to have employees that are going to steal. And you're also going to be tired sometimes yourself. And so even if you are superhero, you're going to want to break. You're going to want to relax. You're going to want to have some freedom from the demands of running a real estate portfolio. And when that happens, it's going to cost you cash flow, right? And if you have a good coach or a mentor, you put in place systems that will help you out, which we teach inside of our inner circle. But if you don't have these systems yet, it's going to cost you money to get them put in place. It's going to cost you energy. It's going to cost you time. You're going to have to learn some lessons the difficult way. Okay, so pro formas lie. Okay, pro formas on these spreadsheets lie. Payments don't lie. The bank will still want their money. Okay, the vendors that do work for you will still want their money. The guy who cuts your grass is still going to want his money, despite whether the tenants pay or not. Okay, the garbage bills, the trash bills, everybody's going to want their capital regardless of whether or not the tenants are paying you. And so don't necessarily look at that spreadsheet like it's gospel. Learn from experience. Learn from experienced operators and learn from your own experience. So, one of the questions I ask these days is, does this property actually put cash in my pocket, or is it just ego? Is it just ego to say that I still own hundreds of properties? Is it just ego to say that I'm still a real estate millionaire? Or is this property actually putting cash in my pocket every month? Am I feeding my family off of this property? Am I going on trips off of this property? Am I able to buy more properties with this property? And when you own hundreds of doors, it becomes evident that that's not always going to be the case. Sometimes you're no longer going to be profitable on a particular property, and those properties need to go. Yes, we're talking about selling real estate today. If you are not making a profit on the property, and if your goal with the property is not to have some appreciation afar off, if it's not a tax write-off where you're saving a whole bunch of money on taxes, and by and large, most people I talk to, that's not their goal. Most people I talk to that got in a rental portfolio, got a bunch of units, they were hoping to cash flow. They were hoping to have money that they could live off of. If you are not making money off of the property, do not let the property become a part of your identity. It is four walls, it is a roof, and it is okay to let it go. It is okay to sell that property. Okay. Now, rich people aren't afraid to sell. We all know this. Okay. Holding is a strategy, it is not a religion. Did y'all hear what I said? I had an old man tell me this. Holding is a strategy, not a religion. And when holding becomes a religion, you can hold for far too long and you can lose tons of money and other opportunities. There are other opportunities coming your way. You do not have to hold on to everything forever. If you're liking this video and you want to learn real estate from somebody who's actually in the game, who's buying, selling, and making hard calls in real time, I'm John Crutchfield. I want you to comment the word map and I will send you my roadmap. Okay, if you're serious about doing your first or next deal in the next 90 days, the link to book a free strategy call with me is below, wherever you're seeing this. Okay, so I want you to make sure to get in touch with me if that's you. Okay, I really appreciated your time today. And as y'all can tell, I'm trying to do these YouTube videos and I'm trying to get better at them. So comment below if you think these are helpful. And don't forget, comment map if we need to have a conversation. I'll talk to you soon.